What's up, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Sharpe Reality. I'm your host, Donovan Sharpe. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at Donovan_Sharpe. Also, like my Facebook page. And if you have any questions, comments, or you want to tell me you hope I drop the soap and get raped in prison, go to the contact tab on thesharpereality.com and tell me what's on your mind. Now, last week, I talked about the events that led to my red pill awakening. This week we're going to talk about why cheating on your girl will usually be a net positive for men. Now, I want to make clear that I'm talking about the typical slutty American women who have ADDD, which is short for attention deficit dick disorder. In other words, the kind of women we deal with and see every day who are whores, sluts, and will cheat on you for little or no reason at all. Cheating on a good woman isn't smart, so that's not what I'm going to discuss today. Now, before I get started, if you're a moralist or if you're the kind of guy who's going to tell me, "Oh, cheating is wrong," or "I love my girlfriend," listen, if you love your girlfriend, great, but fucking another chick doesn't mean that you don't. And not stepping out on her proves nothing except that you don't have the balls to be the polygamous creature you're designed to be. So don't give me that, that moralistic bullshit. I'm not here for that. Last week, last week, my article published on Return of Kings, 3 reasons why damaged American women want you to cheat on them, and why she'll love you for it. Now, obviously, there are parameters and limits to how long my articles can be, so I'm just going to elaborate on a couple of bullet points that I made in the article, maybe touch on a few other things as well. I'm also going to briefly give you a couple of stories on my own. Or of my own. One girl I cheated on, the other one I swore allegiance to. Didn't necessarily swear allegiance to her, but at one point I decided to make her my girlfriend, and you can probably guess how both of those situations turned out. So, reason number 1 why it's a good idea to cheat on your girl. First of all, she's got to know you've got to have backbone. You got to have balls. We all know that women have zero respect for men they do not fear, and zero respect for men they know couldn't cheat even if they wanted to. Now, if they know you could cheat, but know that you won't, that's even worse. That again is showing that you're afraid to grab your Y chromosome and do what's necessary to correct bad behavior. This is the thing, guys. Today's American women respond better to being treated like shit than being treated well. And I've talked about this in the past, but the reason for this is that every man in their lives treat them well. From the time they're babies to toddlers, adolescents, teenagers, adults, literally their whole lives, men have always treated females with kid gloves, okay? Unearned reverence, always making sure their feelings aren't hurt, making sure they feel great about themselves, even if they're 100 pounds overweight. They're coddled by every male they come in contact with from the day they're born. Now, when they're babies, of course, they should be coddled and handled with kid gloves because they're innocent. They don't know any better. They have to have a sense of self. But when they grow up, they're getting so much positive male attention and reinforcement all the time, 24/7. What inevitably happens is that they start to devalue male attention. And who can blame them? Okay? I mean, if any man or woman gets so much of something all the time without having done anything to have earned it, at some point they take it for granted, and before they know it, it's almost completely worthless. So when they're out on a date with a dude and he's telling her how beautiful she is or how great a mom she is, which is fucking laughable considering he knows nothing about the dynamic between her and her kid, and that most single moms are deplorable parents. All of that goes in one ear and out the other. They've heard it all before, they hear it all the time, you're awesome, you're amazing, blah, 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 blah. So when a man like yourself comes along and makes her earn your attention, makes her earn more of your time, puts her through her paces, doesn't put up with her bullshit, of course she's going to latch on and not let go. She rarely experiences the highs that come from getting a reward from a male she respects. as a result of her working for it and actually deserving it, if at all. Women jump at that chance. Of course, they would tell you, oh, well, the man should be trying to impress me. No, 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 no. Women live for impressing men no matter what they tell you. So when she starts to describe you to her friends, she'll say things like, well, he's got balls or he's got backbone. And at that point, you have her respect. But here's the problem, gents. With females in 2016, it is becoming increasingly difficult to get and maintain a female's respect. Okay? Look, sure, you can call her out, tell her she's full of shit, make her work hard for your time and attention, and those things will certainly put you above the vast majority of men that she's been dealing with. But at some point, she will start to look for reasons to cheat on you for no other reason but that's what she's done her entire life. No matter how much she loves you, no matter how much you make her squirt, no matter how low your body fat percentage is, you can always count on two things with women. Number one, they will eventually get bored with you because of their ADDD, and two, they're always looking to upgrade. You could be rich, you could be ripped, you can have a 12-inch dick, but her radar is always on the lookout for a possible upgrade. This isn't a bad thing. Women are designed to consolidate on the highest status male they can find. And if your game is slipping off, if you stop going to the gym, if you stop fucking her like you're trying to kill her, if you stop the things that made her attracted to you in the first place, of course she's going to start looking to upgrade. Even if you kept that up, her antennas are always up. Don't get mad at that. This is just how women are. You could have your girlfriend could be a 10. But guess what? If you see a brunette with huge tits, a great ass, and nice legs, you're going to look. And if you've got game, you're going to try to holler at her. That's just how it is. Cheating on a low quality woman, rather, will not only stave off her ADDD, it will also keep her loyal to you for a little longer because she knows, again, you not only have the balls to do what most men are afraid to do for fear of quote-unquote retribution, but it lets her know that you can and will replace her at the drop of a hat if she doesn't keep her shit together, okay? If you verbally tell her, hey, Kim, if you get fat or if you misbehave, I'm going to replace you. That doesn't mean shit, okay? Especially if you have to say it out loud. Anyone who is a veteran in the game knows that discovery trumps disclosure every time. I addressed this very phenomenon in my article, How Being Beta Can Make You More Attractive. When you tell a girl certain things, okay, it may hold certain weight, but allowing her to discover them, it holds much more credibility, and her hamster will spin and characterize it in a way that makes you more endearing than, okay, he's trying to prove something or he's trying to show off, or he might not be honest with me right now. So again, discovery trumps disclosure. Stepping out on your girl will allow her to discover organically that you'll do what needs to be done. And if and when she starts to fall off as your main chick, if she starts to slide and you fuck around on her, guess what? You don't have to tell her, now, do you see what happens? You started getting fat and I fucked another. No, you don't have to tell her that. Women are a lot of things. Stupid and unperceptive are not, those are not it. Women are extremely in tune with who you are and what you are doing. And it's basically cause and effect. I act like a bitch, he goes to fuck another chick. I start to fall off, I'm not as attentive to his needs, I'm not giving him as much sex, he's going to go get it somewhere else. This is what needs to be discovered by her rather than told. The second reason that I will discuss for cheating on your girl is that it gives you what I call post-selection. Now let me explain what this is. Post-selection is the same as pre-selection with one distinct difference. Post-selection happens after you start fucking her. Pre-selection works wonders before you start fucking her because when she sees that hot girls are signing off on you, that increases her attraction to you instantly, no matter what. If you're a 5'7" balding chubby dude who's got two hot girls chatting you up at the bar who look like they're enjoying themselves, it's going to attract the same caliber of women, okay? They're not looking at your 5'7" chubby frame. They're looking at the girls around you. And in the onlooking woman's mind, she's thinking to herself, is he rich? Does he have a 10-inch dick? Is he funny? Does he make me laugh? They've got all these things running through their minds and their imaginations run wild. Okay? So they subconsciously think to themselves, I need to find out what all the fuss is about. And they proceed to make themselves available to you indirectly. At that point, all you have to do is talk to them and run standard game. Post-selection is necessary with ADD women because it reminds her that other women are still attracted to you. Again, if you're a great-looking guy with money and game and all this other stuff, that's great. But if she doesn't see any other females flirting with you or trying to get your attention or hitting on you, inevitably she'll start to question her decision to be with you if she doesn't see that pre or quote-unquote post-selection in action that attracted her to you in the first place, and she starts to ask herself, well, if other girls aren't flirting, this isn't something that she says out loud, this is in her subconscious. She starts to ask herself, is he really as attractive as I thought he was, or is he really the best I can do right now? Remember, they want to consolidate on who they perceive to be the highest value male they can find. And if they don't, women assign value to things based on what people around them assign it to. Just because they like something, they can say, well, I like guy X, Y, and Z. But if every other woman in the world, or most women, say, guy X, Y, and Z, that guy's not attractive, then they cease to be, their attraction level goes down. I remember there was one experiment where they took some random teenage guy who looked okay, and he walked through a mall. There's a video on YouTube of this, but his name was Thomas something. I can't remember. But what they did is they hired a camera crew and they hired like a bunch of girls who looked like groupies, and he walked through the mall with these reporters sort of, with these microphones, hey, whatever your name is, when's your tour date, blah, 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 blah. Well, as he walked through the mall, the crowd got bigger and bigger and bigger. The girls in the mall who ended up following him around, that wasn't based on his attraction level or anything like that. It was based on the value that was being thrust upon him by the TV cameras, by the groupies, by the attention, etc., etc. If he walks through the mall by himself, they're not going to assign any kind of value to him because there's no pre-selection. There's no outside value assigned to him. But because he had that instantly piqued their curiosity, their interest, made him sort of like the mystery man. You can look that up anytime you want, but it was quite something. Activating post-selection is almost too easy. I use several different techniques myself, which I'll share with you here right now. The first technique that I use is striking up conversation with our waitress or cashier or whoever is serving us at the time. I make strong eye contact, I start flirting, I ask her where she's from, how long she's worked there, I joke about her funny work clothes, etc., etc. She starts to giggle. That's just how it is. And do this in front of your main chick. Do not be afraid to do this, okay? Another technique I use is texting in front of my main chick. I'll just whip up my phone and I'll start texting ex-fuck buddies, one-night stands, any female I can think of. If your game is tight, you should get plenty of responses in a short period of time. And when your girl asks you, well, who are you texting? Just say old friends, okay? And let her vivid imagination take over. She's going to start thinking about what these chicks look like, if you're fucking them or if you're thinking about fucking them. The fact that maybe she didn't hear from you all day yesterday because you were with one of them, like these are things that she's thinking in her mind. Whatever the case may be, she's thinking about you and only you, not the dude she gave her number to a week ago. Okay, that's how that works. Those are my two go-to techniques for activating what I call post-selection. Now, again, gentlemen, it's important to note that the conditions have to be right for it to be effective. First of all, and this should be obvious, but don't chat up ugly chicks, guys, okay? Don't chat up fatties, okay? If you do that in front of your girl, guess what happens? As soon as she gets separated from you, she will go out and get fucked by whoever she can find the first opportunity she gets. All right? No girl wants to fuck. Listen, no girl wants to be with the guys who ugly, fat girls want to fuck. That's how it is, okay? You have to be sure to chat up pretty girls. Even if you get shot down, you show her you have the balls to chat up girls that are out of her league, that are one step up. Pre and post selection only works if the girls you're flirting with are attractive, okay? No chick wants to fuck a chubby chaser. Secondly, it can't be staged or set up, okay? Let it happen organically, but more importantly, never, ever, ever pass up an opportunity to chat up a pretty girl. Now, and the reason for that is you might not get one for a while. If you and your girl are at the grocery store and, you see a leggy blonde in front of you, chat her up. Because if you don't, then you might not get another opportunity for a while, and 1 week later, she's up under, I guess, who they call Chad Thundercock, getting her brains pounded out because she doesn't think that you can or will, at the very least, chat up pretty girls while she's out there giving dudes her phone numbers. Next, and this is very important, do not apologize, guys. If you tell her you're sorry for flirting with your waitress, or that there's no way you'd ever fuck the girl you're texting, it's game over. She'll lose respect for you, and like I said in my last podcast, respect is the most important thing a man can have within the context of a sexual relationship with a woman. If you do not have her respect, you do not have her, period. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'd like to quickly tell you stories about two females I've spent a substantial amount of time with in the past few years. One I cheated on constantly, the other one I didn't. We're going to start with a story, a girl by the name of quote-unquote Brianna. That's what we'll call her. Brianna I met a few years back, and, I just went up to her, introduced myself. Hi, my name's Donovan, made her laugh, escalated, etc., etc. Beautiful Mexican girl. She looked a lot better than Susie, quote-unquote, the low-quality Mexican chick that eventually led me to the red pill. Beautiful girl, huge tits, great ass, nice legs. She was a gym rat, watched her diet, etc., etc. Now, here's the thing. I never ever committed to her. I made her my main source of, pussy buffet because she was pretty and, she seemed to like me. But she had way too many slut tells for me to even think about committing to. But I wanted to keep fucking her, so I ran standard game. Well, if a man fucked a woman who looked as good as Brianna, they're not going to. It's easy to get caught up in that because fucking her was good, most of the time, but she had it in her mind that we were an item, even though she constantly asked me, "What are we? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Can we make this thing exclusive?" And of course, I'm going to tell her no. That's just the way it is. Hey, look, we're just going to keep this thing going. Well, eventually, she told me, "Well, you know what? If you're not committed to me, do whatever you do. I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. Blah 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 blah." Whether or not, and then she told me, "Well, I'm not going to sleep with any other man." Whether or not she was sleeping with other people, I'm not 100% sure. Just based on my experience with her, based on my exposure to her and with her, it's more likely than not that I was probably the only guy she was fucking. If I find out that she was fucking, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, it wouldn't surprise me. Because she was hot, and she had a bunch of slut tells. That's just how it is. So, anyway, she found out on several different occasions that I'd been fucking other chicks. Yeah, she got mad, and she's throwing shit and getting all upset with me, and I trust you, and I love you, and this and that and the other, and you betrayed me. I'm not responding to any of that stuff, because I never made any promises. This girl was loyal to me to a fault. I'm talking checking in with me every 15... I didn't even tell her to do this stuff. She's checking in with me. She's cleaning my apartment. She's doing my laundry. And again, this is because the dread and the drama and all of that was activated in her. She's a beautiful girl. She's not used to being cheated on, or at least finding out about it, because she's a hot girl. She's a 10. And she's used to men doing whatever it takes to make her happy. But here comes a guy like me who says, "Look, I like fucking you, but I'm not going to worship the ground that you walk on just because your vagina is wrapped in a package that men like to call a 10. That's just how it was. But I was not, the whole time I was fucking Brianna, there was always one or two or more chicks that I was fucking around with. I didn't throw it in her face, but, I didn't really try to hide it either. Because I wanted to let her know that, hey, you ain't the only one out there. And I can and will replace you if need be. I'll move you down on the roster. And there are few women in this world who have treated me better than Brianna. And all I did was stick my dick in a few other chicks. And I'll tell you this too. I wrote an article called Three Ways to Keep Your Woman from Cheating. And in that article, I told a short story, a short anecdote about me. This was the girl that I was talking about, Brianna. Brianna and I think we're at the AT&T store, and some girl walked by. And I looked at her, and she says, Did you just look at that girl, like right here in front of me? And I shook my shoulders and said, well, yeah, I did. Of course I did. And she's like, Are you fucking kidding me? And this and that and the other, and I can't do this anymore. Blah blah blah. She's given me the business. She's basically shit testing me. And I was never afraid to do that stuff in front of her. And again, she reacted poorly because she was used to being worshipped by men. And again, why wouldn't she? She's a good-looking woman, and that's just what she was used to. So I told her, look, just calm down. It's no big deal. She's calling me a disrespectful asshole. I'm like, look, you're being a fucking drama queen. Just drop the act. So she keeps going. So I said, finally, grab your shit. We're leaving. And you're making me stir fry tonight. Just to throw that in there. I knew what that would do. And of course she laughs at me. She's like, you expect me to cook for you after this? Fuck you. I'm not making you shit. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm taking you home. So the entire trip home, she's, calling me all kinds of names, telling me I ain't shit, telling me I can't do this anymore, blah, 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 blah. And I dropped her off and that was it. Well, a few hours later, she calls me, tells me she's sorry, blah, 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 blah. Again, I held frame at all costs, including her departure. And here's the thing, guys. She ended up apologizing for a situation that I created with what may or may not have been disrespectful behavior I inflicted on her. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Even if she had decided to never talk to me again after the fiasco, which was a real possibility, because, again, this wasn't the first time this happened. She knew I was fucking other chicks. I still would not have called and apologized. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. It would have sucked to have lost the guaranteed pussy, because the girl was hot, and she could fuck. But that loss pales in comparison had I lost her respect, which would have ultimately, resulted in me losing her anyway. So I did not cave. She came over, she turned on the slut antics, and, I continued fucking her after that. The second story I want to tell you about is about a girl named Haley. I approached her at an auto parts store, or I can't remember exactly. But she was an older woman. I think she was like 29 or 30. And this is pre-Red Pill. This was during my transitional period. So I'm chatting her up. I asked her to the movies. We end up hooking up. She had a couple of dogs that because I'm a dog person, I really, really liked her dogs. And so we're having all these great adventures. We're taking, trips to, different states, staying in cabins, blah, blah, blah. And I remember one morning, I just got done fucking her. And she says to me, out of the blue, she says, well, should I call my mom and tell her that I'm not coming to see her tomorrow because I'm with my boyfriend? And I thought, you know what? Why not? What the hell? I said, yeah, go ahead and tell her we'll be boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, that, of course, was the beginning of the end because that was a shit test, and I failed the shit test. Things were great for the first couple of weeks as boyfriend and girlfriend. She gave me a key to her place. I could let myself in or out as I pleased. I told her, look, I'm never going to cheat on you. I would never think about that. But as time went on, I'll never forget, I'm actually driving her car at this point, and I noticed that anytime she got a text message, her phone was always upright. I could always see it. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw her texting somebody. I didn't see the name or the number, but I noticed that she kind of turned her phone so that I couldn't see it. So she's texting another guy. And so that relationship ended very, very badly. And that was for many reasons. But two of the main reasons is because I allowed her to tame me by agreeing to be her boyfriend, which was a failed shit test. And number two is because I told her that I would never cheat on her. And I never did. I never gave her any sort of reason. I always told her where I was, what I was doing, etc., etc. Both of these women are low-quality women, okay? And I should have cheated. Now, I should have cheated. Technically, I didn't cheat on Brianna because we were never an item. But she was my main chick, so she always took exception when she found that I was fucking somebody else. But again, the point of this entire podcast is when you are dealing with the typical slutty, low quality women, this is what needs to be done. You can't listen. The better you are to a low quality woman, the better you treat them, the worse they will treat you. And cheating on them is, again, ironically, one of the best ways of keeping them loyal. So to wrap this segment up, personally, I think it's a sad state of affairs that cheating on your woman is more effective at keeping her loyal than being good to her and treating her like a lady. I would also like to reiterate that if you have a quality woman, there's no need to cheat. All right. But but again, better than 99% of women in this part of the world are deplorable sluts who only respond to bad treatment. So odds are this is the brand of next level game that'll be necessary at some point or another. That's just the way it is. You can poo-poo it. You can say, well, look, this shouldn't be. No, 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 no. The red pill doesn't go down well. It tastes bad. It gives you heartburn, but it's the fucking truth, guys. That's how this is. If you want to read more on this topic, go to my website at thesharpereality.com. Click on the Return of Kings article tab, and you'll see my article, 3 Reasons Broken Western Women Secretly Want You to Cheat on Them. You can also go to returnofkings.com and find the article there. So now we're going to go to my Q&A session, my questions and answer session. We have sort of a mixed bag today. So let's just jump right to it. The first one is a success story. This one comes from Matt. He says, Donovan, longtime follower. I just listened to your podcast. The failed relationship that turned me to the red pill was also my shortest. I don't want to bore you with my beta origin story, but I wanted to thank you for doing what you do. It helped change my life. I'm self-employed. I got in shape. And I've slept with more women in the last 3 years than the 28 years before. Matt, good for you. Again, the red pill, just like I said, it never goes down easy, and it's a very difficult transition for men to make. But when you fully commit to it and you finally accept the truth, when you finally accept women for what they are, your life changes, and all of a sudden now you're fucking more girls than you ever dreamed, because like we've given you the keys to the kingdom. This is exactly how to do it. We're not bullshitting you here. This isn't theory. This is the real shit. Girls that are low quality respond better when they're not treated as well as they're used to being treated. That's all there is. So Matt, thank you. For the, I guess I don't want to use religious terms, so thank you for the testimony. Next question comes from Darius. Donovan, I'm a follower of your articles from Return of Kings, and I wanted to be able to reach out to you for advice on gaming white women and Latina women in my city. Hope to chat it up with you soon. Thanks. Thanks for the question there, Darius. The 2 articles that I've written that I would recommend right off the bat. The first one is 7 Reasons Every Man Should Date a Latina at Least Once in Their Lives. Read the article, but some of the highlights of the article is that they tighten up your game very, very, very quickly. Their natural fire, their spicy personalities, their boisterousness works as a highly effective beta repellent. If you step to a mommy with weak game, she's gonna blow you out. But that's fine, because again, that's what tightens up your game. You learn to get around that stuff. And when you game Latinas for an extended period of time, then you turn around and game white girls, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I talked about me and my brother, an experience I had with a girl in a nightclub at the Havana nightclub in Atlanta. Definitely hit it if you're ever in the ATL. But me and my brother at this club, and we're chatting up I think there were a couple of Mexican or Cuban chicks. I can't remember. And I'm hitting it off with this one girl, and she calls the bartender over and she orders a drink and tells her to put it on my tab. And I immediately stopped the bartender. I said, "Whoa, no. Don't put this on my tab. Put this on her tab." And she says, "Well, your mother," or she says, "your father didn't teach you how to treat women with respect," or something like that. I said, "No, but my father did," or something. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, that was a shit test, and I passed it. I'm not about to pay for drinks just because you order it. I'm not going to let that go. I ended up fucking her later that night because she got my attention somehow, and then she bought me a drink and said, "Okay, yeah, my father raised me right too." The point is that gaming Latinas is not easy. And if you want to talk more about that, I'll tell you how to do that in just a second. Also, as far as dating white women are concerned, I recently wrote an article called Five Tips for Dating, 5 tips for non-white men who want to date white chicks or white women. So Darius, you can DM me anytime at Donovan_Sharp if you want one-on-one advice. At which point you can give me a little more detail on that on your situations. I can give you tips and tricks of the trade. I've got a lot going on right now, but I can assure you that I'll do my level best to get back with you as soon as possible. That's what I want, guys. If you guys have questions, hit me in the DMs, contact me on my website. I'll do my best to answer each and every question, maybe read a few of them on the air like I am now. Our next question comes from Jay Sotelo. It says, "Hey, what's up, Sharp? Been a fan of your articles for a year, and I'm just wondering how much do people donate to your website on average? Right now, people are dropping between $5 and $10 in the tip jar on average. Donate, however much or little as you want. All of your donations help to keep this podcast and my website up and running. So thanks for that question, Jay Sotelo. And again, you can leave a donation right there at the bottom of each page. It's via PayPal. Got my first hate mail of the podcast. Comes from Yoga Chick. So automatically she's probably fat, who wears yoga pants and thinks because of that she likes yoga. And she's probably sweaty, so she probably thinks she does hot yoga. Anyway, she says, "I'd like to meet the woman who turned you into the douchebag you've become and give her a high five. You sound like a rich man's Steve Urkel. Are you even African American?" Well, Yoga Chick, thank you. You called me a rich man's Steve Urkel, so I'll take that as the debonair version of Steve Urkel, his alter ego Stefan Urkel. Am I African American? I mean, look, of course I am, but I don't really give a shit whether you think I am or not. But thank you for the hate mail. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for reading my articles. And listen, if you look, feel free to slide into my DMs as well. I'll be more than happy to, laugh at your insults on one condition. On one condition, I want you to send me a real picture of you in yoga pants, and I want you to put my Twitter handle on it at Donovan_Sharp Yoga Chick, or however the hell you spelled that. I could definitely use a good laugh. So that ends the Q&A session. Every week I'm going to do a Twitter poll, or at least I'm going to try to do a Twitter poll. And this week's Twitter poll is sort of a hypothetical situation. So the question is, and you'll see it up on my Twitter, if you had to choose, gun to your head, which woman would you get into a long-term relationship with first? Number 1, a single mother of 1. Number 2, tattooed, pierced chick. We've all seen that. Number 3, post-wall divorcee with no kids. Or number 4, one of your friends with benefits. Okay? You can find that poll on my Twitter page at Donovan_Sharp. If you'd like to give me an answer and elaborate on your rationale, go to the contact page on the sharpereality.com. I'll read the best ones on air. As always, you can leave a donation at the bottom of the page. Follow me on Twitter and keep up with my articles on Return of Kings. That ends this week's podcast. Next Tuesday, I'm going to delve into the realm of fitness. I'm going to talk about how I myself stay in shape and the things that I do to maintain an above-average body and fitness level. Now, this isn't going to be the typical eat right, exercise, split routines, protein shakes, blah. This isn't going to be bro science. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do personally and why it's effective. It's not going to be, and again, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a fitness expert, and it's not going to be anything theoretical or shit I've heard or read somewhere else. This is going to be a real-world account of what I do to stay in great shape without all of the bullshit narrative that you hear from most people. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Sharpe Reality, and I will talk to you all next Tuesday.